Alright, let's get right into it. 20 powerful life and money skills you want to master in your 20s. Number 1 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s, learn a simple dance move. It doesn't have to be fancy, you don't need to learn how to pop or break dance like Michael Jackson, but a well-rehearsed dance move can make or break your cool factor. In your 20s, you'll get invited to a lot of events and parties. Weddings, birthdays, company holiday parties, you name it. And in these events, there will come a time when you'll get pushed into the center of the dance circle. You don't want to be that guy or gal that just stands there awkwardly because you have nothing to bust out. Or worse yet, start trying to improvise on the spot. It's not only painful for you, but painful for the people watching. Save everyone the pain and master one simple dance move. Number 2 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn to tell stories. Learn how to tell a concise yet powerful story with a good beginning, middle, and an end. Have you ever heard a 7-year-old tell a story? I asked my daughter how her day was, and she would tell me what she ate for breakfast, then what she drew in class, who she played with during recess, and continued to chronologically explain everything that she did for the rest of the day. I love her, but if I'm honest, it takes tremendous effort to stay with her throughout the whole story. It lacks how you say suspense, excitement, or even just a plot. Here's one quick tip to vastly improve your storytelling that I learned from an actual storytelling expert, Matthew Dix, the author of Storyworthy. Instead of using the word and to connect sentences and paragraphs, use words like but and therefore. And stories have no movement or momentum, whereas a but and therefore are words that signal change. The story was heading in one direction, but now it's heading in a different direction. It adds more flair to the story and keeps the listener in suspense to what happens next. Alright, but let's say no matter how hard you try, you always bore your audience to death. Then what? Well, don't lose hope, my young friend. This is where the next life skill comes in. Number 3 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn a simple magic trick. Can't keep your friends and your date entertained with your amazing storytelling skills? Bust out a simple magic trick. It's a great icebreaker and a geeky way to show your friends or even your date that you're somewhat of an interesting person. One of my favorite ones is the magnetic pencil trick. I know it's corny, but you don't know how many times I've used this to break an awkward moment. However, if that doesn't work, maybe it's time to bust out the next skill. But a quick interruption before we move on. If you haven't yet downloaded your free copy of my 10-step guide to securing your family's financial future, I highly recommend that you do so today. Not only is this a great free resource for your financial journey, but you'll also be joining my email newsletter. Newsletter where you can connect with me directly as well as be the first to know regarding any new services or products I plan on offering in the future. Please go to my website at financialtortoise.com and download your free copy today. I'll also have a link in the description below. Alright, with that said, let's get back to the video. Number 4 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. This one is an obvious one, but super hard to do because it's not natural. Learn to listen. We all love the sound of our own voice. Others' voice, not so much. But listening and listening well is a foundation for a healthy relationship. When we learn to listen and listen well, we show the other person that we value and respect their thoughts and opinions. One of the biggest reasons why relationships, friendships, and romantic ones fail is because one or the other party doesn't feel heard, understood, and valued. Good listening helps to mitigate that. What helps me to listen better are these 2 practices. 1, to give my full attention, which means I put away my phone, close the door, look the person in the eye, and do my best to give undivided attention. 2nd is to resist the urge to interrupt. I have to try really hard to allow my wife, my friend, and my kids to express their thoughts without my interruption. And I'll be honest, this is really hard for me to do because my brain naturally gravitates towards solutions. But wait until you're invited to give your 2 cents. Alright, let's say you listen really well, but now there's an awkward silence after you listen for quite a bit. Then what? Not a problem. Let's bust out the next life skill. Number 5 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn to ask good questions. Questions that make the other person pause and think. Questions that make the recipient want to talk about themselves more. Questions that make them think what an amazing conversationalist you are. You can tell whether a man is clever by his answers. You can tell whether a man is wise by his questions. Some of my favorite are the following. After someone states something interesting, follow up with, wow, that is fascinating. Can you tell me more about that? Or if they're talking about an initiative they recently took on, that is awesome. Can I ask what motivated you to take that project on? Or why you did what you did? Or if they just came back from a trip. That sounds amazing. What were your most memorable moments? What surprised you the most? Would you want to visit again? You want your questions to be thoughtful and open-ended. You want the other person to feel understood and heard. But to be honest, there's no magic behind this skill. Just be genuinely curious. Ask questions because you really want to know, not just to fill the air. Now, do you want to take this a step further to make you even more likable? Let's take it up a notch. Number 6 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn to write things down. Now, as simple as this sounds, we don't do this enough. And hardly ever when we're talking to someone. But the biggest compliment you can give someone aside from asking questions and listening is to write down what they're saying. When someone mentions something interesting, say this. Wow, I didn't know that. Hold on, do you mind if I write that down so I don't forget? What you're signaling to the other individual is that what they said is so interesting and important, you can't help but write it down. You can write down on your phone, but if you have a pocket notebook and a pen with you, that is even more impressive. And don't just do it for the show. Actually write down interesting things because people are interesting when you actively listen. There is so much to learn from everyone, and we will never glean their wisdom if we don't write things down. Number 7 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn how to deal with criticism. People will constantly tell you what you can and can't do. So much more so when you're young, like in your 20s. Do you think you can become a professional soccer player? Don't you know that's next to impossible? Who do you think you are to believe that you can one day become wealthy? Do you think money grows from trees? Or sometimes criticism masked as encouragement, which is even more painful. Why don't you try something you're really good at? I'm telling you because I care for you. However, most often, when people are telling you these kind of things and are criticizing you, they aren't really doing it for you. In fact, most often, they're just displacement of their personal insecurities. When you're trying new things, trying to forge a new path for yourself, know that it will naturally come with criticism. Develop a thick skin. Develop a skill to deal with criticism. Number 8 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn how to embrace boredom. Learn to be okay sitting in silence for a while. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. As a society, we've completely forgotten how to be bored. It might have something to do with smartphones, but what do I know? Embracing boredom actually is a secret to unlocking the creativity and the imagination that is locked up in your brain. We can all give examples of a eureka moment we had while we were in the shower or sitting on the toilet without a phone to look at. When our minds are cluttered with stimuli, our brains are able to really process all the thoughts and information that are speeding through our head. Curious to know my favorite way to embrace boredom? Let's get into the next life skill. Number 9 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn to walk again. We all know how to do it. Most of us learned it when we turned 12 months, but we forgot to practice it regularly as we gotten older. Get in the habit of walking for at least 15 minutes every day, ideally outside, around your neighborhood, or at your local park. Leave your phone behind. Or if you do, keep it in your pocket and resist the urge to pull it out. The outdoor sunlight, movement, and the fresh air will not only rejuvenate you, but help slow down the world around you and affirm that everything will be okay. Number 10 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn to shop healthy. You might not have done much food shopping yourself in your teens, but now in your 20s, you likely have to do them yourself. But how to shop and how to shop for healthy? A good starting point is not to allow the supermarket to direct your shopping habit. Believe it or not, the inside of a supermarket aren't randomly designed. Rather, they're smartly designed by some very clever individuals to direct shoppers to follow a specific foot pattern. For example, the middle aisles, where most people are directed to as soon as they enter the store, is stocked with not only more expensive, but highly processed items. Items that aren't healthiest for your diet. Don't follow the natural pathway. Once you enter the grocery store, instead of heading towards the middle aisles, go towards the outer perimeter. This is where grocery stores stock their fruits and vegetables, meats, and dairy. Less processed, a lot more natural and healthier. Number 11 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn to identify your boss's frog and eat it. Brian Tracy, the author of Eat the Frog, says, the most valuable tasks you can do each day are often the hardest and most complex. But the payoff and rewards for completing these tasks efficiently can be tremendous. The most valuable task is the frog. When you're starting out in your career in your 20s, you're most often working on other people's priorities. So get good at identifying your boss's frog and swallowing it. Observe your boss, figure out what they hate doing, learn to do it, and take it off their plate. This is a sure way not only to get ahead of your peers, but an excellent way to add value immediately and gain leverage for the next chapter of your career. Number 12 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn to be frugal. You'll have plenty of time later in life to spend more as your net worth grows. But it's extremely hard to unlearn and unwind lavish spending habits. Learn the habit of frugality early on. Learn to live below your means, especially when your income isn't as high in your 20s. If you can master the art of making deliberate financial choices, controlling your spending, and having a long-term perspective of your finances, the world is your oyster as your income grows with time. Number 13 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Learn how to build good credit. Pay off your credit card on time. Don't get too close to your credit limit and check your credit report regularly to ensure accuracy. As you get into later stages of life where you might want to make bigger purchases such as a home or a car, your credit score will play a major role in that. You ignore this in your 20s and you can be paying thousands in extra interest payments that you could easily have avoided. Number 14 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Debt management. 20s are the time when you'll start to encounter big debts in your life. Student loans, car loans, and even home loans. You want to understand the basics of interest rates. It can be daunting, but the math behind these products aren't college-level calculus. If you can do basic plus and minus and a little bit of multiplication, you can figure it out. If you don't understand the basics of debt and how interest rates work, some shady individuals might even try to take advantage of that by pushing non-optimal debt products on you. Put them in their place and educate yourself. Number 15 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Automating your finances. Learn how to automate your bill payments, transfers, and direct deposit. These are almost basic features for all banks and credit card companies now. Direct deposit your paycheck, automate your 401k contributions, auto pay your credit card and bills, and auto transfer your investments. Automating your finances is one of the shortest ways to guarantee a better financial future. When you automate, you don't have to worry about making the right money decisions. The right money decisions are being made for you. Number 16 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Understand the power of simplicity when it comes to investing. The world of finance loves to use fancy words and jargons to overcomplicate things. It makes people working in the industry feel superior, confuse everyone else, and ultimately make them more money. When it comes to investing, simple trumps everything. Avoid people who use fancy words. Don't buy and don't give them your time. Rather, I recommend you running the other way. Invest in a simple, broad market index fund that tracks either the S&P 500 or the total market. Automate your contribution like I stated earlier and forget about it for the next 20 years. Then when you're in your 40s, check your account and don't be surprised if you have enough to quit your job tomorrow. Number 17 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Understand that if an investment or a financial opportunity seems too good to be true, assume that it probably is. The S&P 500 or the total market index fund are the closest to free lunch you will get investing in the market. However, even they aren't completely free. You'll need to have the resilience to ride the ups and downs of the market, the fortitude to resist selling when the market looks like it's crashing, and the patience to stay invested for the long run. Easier said than done, of course. But if you can develop these skills early on, you will win with investing in the long run. Number 18 powerful life skill you want to master in your 20s. Reading books. If we encounter a man of rare intellect, we should ask him what books he reads. Reading is a life skill that will pay dividends until the day you die. And personally, rather than short form reading like emails or blogs, I like long form books. I feel they have the biggest bang for the buck given the amount of resources and time the author normally goes into producing a 300-page book. But regardless of the length, learn to read. Develop a love for reading in your 20s and I guarantee it, and I don't use this word too often, but I'll stake it here. I guarantee you'll have an extraordinary life. And don't think you have to continuously read new books. I personally like to reread my favorite books because I learn something new every time. I'm changing and the experience I have with the book changes as well. Number 19 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Invest in yourself. Don't think too much when investing in yourself. Books, quality food, fitness, personal development. These personal investments, like reading, will pay dividends in the long run. Some books and personal development courses might not resonate, but a few could change your life. You don't know until you try. Number 20 powerful skill you want to master in your 20s. Be adventurous. And when I mean pursuing an adventure, actively pursue it. In your 20s, don't shy away from new and exciting opportunities. Got a job offer that could take you to the other side of the world for the next 12 months? Take it. Been thinking about a rock climbing class that terrifies you? Go for it. A friend told you about going out on a date with his coworker? Don't think too much. Go out and meet new people. 20s, from my perspective, is all about trying new things, pushing yourself, and failing a lot. Not only will you develop thick skin to failure, you'll have exciting things to tell your kids about someday. Thank you guys for watching, and in the spirit of adventures, if you'd like to learn about some of my career adventures, please check out my video here on my 3 careers over 3 decades. Until next time, all the best.